Hello and welcome back to Guides.Global, and if it's your first time, welcome to Guides.Global. My name's John Howell and I'm the editor, and with me today I have Başak Yıldız Orkun, who is a lawyer based here in Bodrum, Turkey. So welcome, Başak.
Hi, John.
In this little video we're going to talk about schools and education here in Turkey. And of course you have written a series of guides about living in Turkey, including one on schools and education, which contain a lot more detail, but they're all available online. For a foreign person who is going to be coming to Turkey either to do business or to retire, they have some decisions to make, don't they, about education?
Yeah.
The first question people ask is, what is the Turkish education system like? The Turkish state education system and the Turkish private education system. Could you just give us a snapshot of that Turkish state education system? What age do kids go to school?
They're about like 5 years,
Yes.
5 years old, 66 months, 61 to 66 months old.
And then you have preschool before that as well within the state system?
Yeah, within the state system we have the preschool and then preliminary school and then elementary and high school. So
Yes.
12 years compulsory education we have.
So basically you go to school at 5 and you leave at 17 or something like that, 18?
Yeah, almost 18 years
Yes.
old, yeah, and then after university.
And what is state education in Turkey like?
I would say our state education was more stronger than nowadays if we compare like 10, 20 years ago, because our state...
That's just because you're getting old.
I think the state schools were really popular at that time because we had exams and obviously we didn't have that much private schools. So nowadays I think it is both the same. We have good state schools, but on the other hand we have really good private schools. So it is more about the decision of the parents, and of course it depends on your budget. So because they are not cheap, the private schools.
And is education in the state system in Turkey a disciplined education? The teachers insisting you learn things?
Yes.
Slightly illiberal education in that you don't just allow the children to go and play.
No.
The children are sitting there, they're there to learn.
Yeah, we have a discipline system,
Yes.
I have to say. And I know there are lots of things are happening right now in the world about the education system, and the Northern Europe system is much better, like adopted by some countries, but we haven't yet. So we still think that the children must be at the school at a certain time until to the certain time, and they have to have some homeworks, and we have quite like a disciplined teachers.
Okay, now that's the state system, and the private system here in Turkey runs in parallel to the state system, doesn't it?
Actually, it has to be parallel because
Yes.
either the state or private school, they are both like monitored by the Ministry of Education.
And they're still following basically the same curriculum.
Correct.
It's just taught in a different environment.
Correct. The private schools are like attaching some further language, like lessons, but the history or other like major courses has to be followed as per the directory of the Ministry of Education.
Yes. And then alongside those two education systems, there is a third education system, which is essentially international schools.
Oh, yeah.
And they're completely different, aren't they?
Yeah. They are more for expats, like coming to Turkey, work for a couple of years' time, and then
Yes.
they will be going back to their home country. They just leave their children with these private schools, the international ones, so the degrees will be acceptable.
Because the international school, say the German international school, would be teaching the German curriculum.
System.
So
Yeah.
that you can come to Turkey with your child for 2 years, go back to Frankfurt and slot straight back into the system.
Correct, and I believe most of the consulates, the other countries' consulates, has their own
Yes.
schools
For their employees.
for their
and their children.
employees or the relevant parties.
So when a person comes to Turkey, for example, to work, if you're to set up a business, they have to decide which part of this system they're going to go into.
Yeah.
Now, if they're working here and paying into social security here, then they will be entitled to go into the state system,
Correct.
just like any Turkish person
Yes.
would. Yeah. Or they could go for the private system, or they could go for the international system. What would be the advantage, as far as you're concerned, of someone going into the Turkish state system as the child of an international worker?
I think the diversity is really precious in the state schools. And also they will get more maybe Turkish culture if you are an expat. Yeah.
Certainly within 6 months of coming to Turkey and being in a state school, a child of 5 or 6 will speak very good Turkish. They'll have lots of Turkish friends.
Of course.
And they'll be absorbing the Turkish culture.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yes. Whereas if you go to the international school, the teaching will probably be in German or English or whatever language you've chosen, and you may find far fewer Turkish children and therefore integrate much more slowly.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of like a decision. If the parents are thinking that they think about themselves and just go to school, have a chat with a teacher, or like gather necessary information, and they don't speak Turkish, obviously the international schools or private schools are much easier for an international parent.
Yes.
But on the state system, because you might have a difficulty to get the information all in English, so yeah,
yes.
So it's a matter of decision.
I have to say, I have no children, but my personal view is that you can give a child no greater present than international culture, and that to have a child who is equally at home in the English culture and the Turkish culture is a tremendous gift, and it opens wonderful career opportunities for them.
Totally agree.
If you can speak absolutely perfect Turkish and understand the Turkish jokes and understand the football system and everything else, you have massive opportunity.
Yeah, I think it's the same for all languages and all cultures.
Yes. Going on from that then very quickly to university. Turkish university is very well respected in the world. Who can go to university in Turkey?
You need to finish your high school. If you are a high school degree, you can just take the exams, and you have to pass the exams to go to university. We have a certain like a ranking, then your score must be higher than that. Then you are going to be part of the university scheme.
Yes, and as with the ordinary lower schools system, you have a state system and a private system.
Correct.
But here it's the other way around, isn't it? The respected universities are all state universities. And probably get lots of hate email for saying this, but the private universities are basically for kids who can't get into the state universities.
Previously it was more like that, but now we have really well respected private universities which has like a really high scores like us from the national exams. So I wouldn't say that's like 100% like correct, but yes, obviously there are some private universities doesn't really look at the scores, and they just like give the children some level of education, and they will have the degree.
And take the money.
Yeah, take the money, obviously. The state universities, because our state universities are being here for a long, long while, I think especially our technical universities are very well known, and yes, they are well respected.
Well, thank you for saving me from the hate email by correcting me on that. Başak, I think unless there's any other important topic you want to cover in the terms of education, I think we can say thank you.
Yeah, thank you, John.
I hope you found that interesting, and as ever, if you did, please like us or follow this channel, and whether you do that or not, I'm sure we'll see you again soon. Goodbye.